Good morning as we go to the Chitas of today. We're holding on chapter 21, verse number 1. Parshas Emor. God took to tell the Kahanim Bnei Aaron, the children of Aaron. He shall tell them nefesh lo yitama ba'amav. She says, don't become impure to a dead person amongst your people. Emor Kahanim. Rashi says, it says twice Emor va'amarta. Why does it say twice? To tell them, to warn the adults on the young. Bnei Aaron. The Torah over here comes to tell us, I would have thought that even the desecrated Kehanim was born forbidden union are included kochalolim. If a Kohen was born from a divorced woman, that if a Kohen married a divorced woman, which he's not allowed to, and he had a child, they're kochalolim. So they are not in this law. And they are, Rashi says, the children of Aaron, even if they have defects, they're still Kehanim. If the Chalalim, they cannot fit to be a Kohen is one thing. But if they are just they have defects, they're missing an arm, for example, which they cannot do the service, but they're still Kehanim. Bnei Aaron, number 2 is the sons of Aaron, Leibenais Aaron. A girl could become impure. While a dead person is amongst your people and therefore has people. We're not talking about a situation where there's nobody there to do for the dead person. And he's called in Torah law, Meis Mitzvah. He's called a Meis Mitzvah, a person that died, that's a mitzvah to be there for them. Because nobody else is there for them. A person who's found in the middle of the Chas v'Shalom and on the side of the road, then you have to become tummy to that person, even if you're a Kohen. A Kohen should only become impure, only to his family, not to his entire family, to his mother and to his father, to his son, Levitai, to his daughter, and to his brother. Now she says, what does it mean to a relative? And then the Torah says, mother, father. So what's the relative? So the answer is that is his wife. The Sheda is true person who's close to him, true family is your wife. And therefore a Kohen Gadol can become impure to his wife. To your sister, you're only allowed to come if she's not married. If she's not married. He can become impure to your sister who had not gotten married. Rashi says, what means you're close to him? Are you close to every sister? Even though she was betrothed, as long as she's not married, you can become impure to her. That you had a relationship. Then it's a mitzvah. It's an obligation. You have a mitzvah to betama to your family. Verse 4, have a husband. He's not allowed to defile himself. A wife who causes his desecration while he's amongst his people. Rashi says, this comes to tell us that he's not allowed to defile himself to a deceased wife who is unfit for him. Meaning, whom you desecrated his status. So if a Kohen marries a Gerusha, doesn't want to get divorced, and his wife dies, Chas v'Shalom, then he's not allowed to be purified to her, because she is not allowed to be married to her. I mean, he's married, but he's not allowed to be married to her. And this is the simple meaning of the verse. A husband shall not defile himself for his relatives, meaning his wife, while she's still amongst his people. And again, while she has a non-Kohen relative who can attend to her burial. So again, the Torah is not talking about a situation where nobody else is there. If there's somebody else there of a family who can take care of her situation, then you're not allowed to defile yourself to her. But if there's nobody else, self-understood, you're allowed to defile yourself. A Kohen is not allowed to make bald patches in his head. And they're not allowed to shave the edges of their beard. Nor are they allowed to make cuts in their flesh. Now the truth is, we mentioned this in the previous parsha. That is talking about a regular Jew too. And that's right. Rashi says for the deceased. But are all Israelites against this? However, when referring to the Israelites, it says, you shall not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead. Thus, one might think that one is liable for making bald patches anywhere else on the head. Therefore, the Torah tells us regarding the Kahanim, that they should not make bald patches on the head, teaching us that the prohibition applies to the entire head. So in essence, Rashi is going to go backwards and forwards, that we have two laws, the laws that are connected to Kahanim, considering this concept, and the laws that are connected to regular Jew. And Rashi is going to go backwards and forwards, and we learn one from the other. So we learn from the Kahanim, it means on the head, anywhere on the head. And he's putting the Kahanim to all Israelites through Gezeirah Shav. That's the concept of what the rabbis, how they learned the Torah. That's one of the ways of Gezeirah Shav. They have the common words. The scripture uses the expression karcha, bald patch, with regard to the Jews, regular Jew, and scripture uses karcha, bald patches, in the kohen. Now, just as the Kehanim prohibition applies the entire head, so too is understood by the Jews. Prohibition applies to the entire head. Whenever one makes a bald patch in his head, not just between his eyes, just as regarding the Jews, we're talking about over here, it says openly that he's not allowed to make a bald patch to the dead. Over here, by the Kehanim, it doesn't mention that it's to the dead. So we learn from the Gezeirah Shav. Same way, just like by the Jews, we're talking about it to the dead. So to the Kahanim, we're talking about to the dead. He's not just making bald patches because that's the the new fad, the new kind of situation. We make bald patches. Over here, we're making bald patches to the dead. Rashi says, okay, here we have another thing that says by the Jews. Since it's a reference to all Jews, you shall not destroy the edge of the beard. Over here, it says you're not by the Jew, it says you're not allowed to destroy. Over here, it says you're not allowed to cut. So you put the two together. One might think one removes his hair with a tweezer or a plane, or one takes a scissor. Therefore, it says here, shall not shave. So over there it says, you're not allowed to cut. Over here it says, you're not allowed to shave. So we learn that you're not allowed to use something that cuts, that's considered shaving, destroying the beard. And that's a razor. So a razor is surely not allowed to be used. A man is not allowed to use a razor on his face. The rabbis argue about today's electrical razors, and many hold that it's considered like a scissors. It's not considered like a razor blade. But for surely, everybody holds that you're not allowed to use a tar, which is being a razor. And if you're going to shave your beard, then don't use a razor. Suddenly, again, the same law says by the Jewish people that they shouldn't use the saratas. They shouldn't cut their flesh. Nor shall they cut their flesh. Why double language? Since regarding all Israel, this Torah says you should not make cuts in your flesh. For a person who died, one might think that someone made the cut, 5 cuts, he's liable having transgressed only one negative commandment. Therefore, the Torah says no. You did 5 commandments. You did 5 negative commandments. But the word sarates is superfluous. Thus expound above. As scripture could have merely written, you should not cut. I would have known the meaning is not to cut. Hence, the superfluous, when the Torah says, L'isa sarates, it comes to teach us that you're obligated on every single cut. Verse number 6, you should be holy to God. You should not profane the name of God. It's Isha Hashem lechem hakim, because they're bringing up the bread of God. And you shall be holy. Now she says, they shall be holy. Now she says, if you're a kohen, you don't have a choice. A kohen cannot say, I don't want to be a kohen. I don't want, I give up the job. A Kohen is a Kohen, and he's not allowed to profane himself. So Kohen's not ever come tummy. Not his choice. That's what Rashi says. It tells us, but rather he shall be holy. It means that the Kohanim which wish to defile himself over the dead are thereby desecrating their holiness. Against their will, the court must prevent them from doing so. Isha Zaina v'chalala, and therefore the same thing is the concept that Kohen is not allowed to marry a prostitute, a one which will desecrate him. Isha Grusham, Isha Layikachel. They're not allowed to marry a woman who's divorced from her husband. He created Shalakavalo because he has the Holy of God upon him. Not something he can choose. Zaina, a woman who an Israelite who is forbidden for her to have a relationship, and it's punishable by exorcism or Nasan and send of a Gibeonites, and forbidden to marry into Israel generation or a mamzer. So Zaina is a person that had a relationship that a Kohen is not allowed to have. They're not allowed to marry. If she had a relationship with a non-Jew, she can marry a regular Jew, but she can't marry a Kohen. Halala again is somebody who was born from one who unfit for Kona. For example, the daughter of a widow, or Kohen Gadol. The Kohen Gadol married a widow, she's not allowed to, and he had a daughter. A regular Kohen married a divorcee, and they had a child, a girl. She can marry a regular Jew. It's not a problem. She cannot marry a Kohen because she is considered a Chalala. So also the term Chalala includes women who became desecrated from the Kohana through relations with one of those themselves disqualifies from the Kohana. Verse 8, Vikidashta, they shall be holy. Because he's bringing up the bread of God. He shall be holy. Because I, God, am holy, who makes you holy. Now she says, Vikidashte, against his will. If he refuses to divorce her, a divorcee, you force her. Treat him with holiness. He should be first to commence any matter. That's Kodesh Yalah. He should be the first one to do everything. The Kohen should be honored. First Aliyah should be honored to do the grace after meals. He should be honored. The Kohen should be honored. Verse number 9. If a daughter of a Kohen becomes desecrated through adultery, it's a via Mechalelis, she's desecrating her father. She shall burn her fire. Now she says, over here we're talking about the word chalal stems from the chil, desecration, and not the word chalal, beginning. That's the phrase means if she became desecrated through forbidden union, thereby she had a marriage bond to a man, and she committed adultery, whether this bond has been a betrothal or marriage. And our rabbis differ with regard to the matter. It's a whole argument in the Gemara, Sanhedrin, at which stage of marriage bond referred to here. All agree, however, that the Torah does not speak about a single woman. So we're not talking about a daughter of a Kohen that had a relationship out of marriage. We're talking about a daughter of a Kohen that had a relationship in marriage. And the Torah, truth is, anybody, any woman, a man who have a relationship while they have been married, if a man has a relationship with a married woman, a regular Jew, they also put to death in Torah law. Both of them are put to death. What's the difference over here? She's married. That's called an affair. And in Torah law, if a person has an affair in front of witnesses, etc., intentionally, he's put to death. So both of them. So what's the difference? Torah will tell you that a Bas Kohen has a different law than a regular woman who has an affair. It's a via machalelas. He denigrated his honor. The people say, cursed is the father, this one, cursed is the one who raised this one. And therefore, the Kohen, this girl is a Kohen, the daughter of a Kohen, even though she's right now married to a regular Jew, she has a different law than a regular person who has an affair. Verse number 10. And a Kohen Gadol and who is elevated from his brothers, upon whose head his anointing has been poured. And he has been inaugurated to wear the garments, the 8 garments of Kohen Gadol. Yifra shall not leave his hair unshorn. Ubegadol Yifra, he should not render a garment. Like Yifra, Rashi says, he shall not leave his hair unshorn as a gesture of mourning. But still leaving your hair unshorn more than 30 days. So a Kohen is not to leave his hair, he has to take a haircut before 30 days. I'll call nefashis meis la'yavei la'avi levim la'yitama. He shall not come upon any dead body. He shall not defile himself for his father or for his mother. What does that mean? Rashi says, he shall not enter the tent, the house that we're in, he's dead person. Kohen Gadol. Nafshis meis. What means the soul of the dead? Even a quarter of a lug of blood. He should not come in contact even with that amount of blood. He's not he's a Kohen Gadol. Why is the Kohen Gadol cannot even purify himself to his mother and father? Since the Kohen Gadol, unlike an ordinary Kohen, he's forbidden to defile himself for any dead body, even for his parents. The seemingly superfluous statement here comes only to permit him to defile himself to a mes mitzvah. So a mes mitzvah he's allowed to become defiled, like even a Kohen Gadol. If the Kohen Gadol chances upon a dead body, then he's obligated to become impure to this dead body. So a mes mitzvah, a person who has no one to do anything for him, he's destitute and there's nobody there to take care of him, a Kohen Gadol is allowed to take care of him. Now, why is a Kohen Gadol not allowed to defile himself? Because he's not allowed to make this liyetze. Because he's not allowed to leave the sanctuary. To defile himself. He can't desecrate the holy things of God. Because he's been anointed by God. And he Hashem, I am God. She says, he shall not leave the sanctuary to follow the funeral procession, even of relatives. Furthermore, from here, the rabbis learned that a Kohen Gadol may offer sacrifice even if he's anointed. If his close relative has died that day. Following therefore is meaning of the verse, even if his father and mother died, the Kohen Gadol need not leave the sanctuary, but he can continue to perform the service of the sanctuary. Tough situation. The Chalos Mikdashi, meaning that if he does not thereby desecrate the holy service, Scripture has permitted him to perform the holy service under such circumstances. However, an ordinary Kohen performing the holy service or being an Oinen desecrates the service. A regular Kohen needs to become, so to say, defiled to his parents and to what the Torah mentioned to his loved ones in the Pasha. But a Kohen Gadol is only allowed to marry a virgin. Almano, Grusha is not allowed to marry a widow, a divorcee, halala, somebody who's desecrated to not to marry a Kohen, Zaina, person's a prostitute, Lo Yikach is not allowed to take. In Besula Ba'am of Yikachisha, he's only allowed to marry a virgin amongst. Again, Rashi says halala is not connected to halala, who's a Zaina, but rather one who read in the two separate items, halala and then Zaina. So halala is first a woman who's born from an unfit kohuna. Again, that she was born from a divorce, a Kohen that married a divorcee, another Kohen Gadol that married a widow, and they have a daughter. A Kohen Gadol is not allowed to marry such a girl, even if she's a psula, she's a virgin. Shall not desecrate his offsprings amongst his people. And he shall mekache, desiring the Lord to sanctify it. If she did marry one of these women, he married a divorcee, he married an almana, etc. That his children are called chalalim. The Jews, they are chalalim, they're profaned from being tayhanim. Today you don't have the law of Kohen Gadol in the Beis Hamikdash, but we have the law of a Kohen. So today a Kohen is allowed to marry a almana. He's allowed to marry a widow, but he cannot marry a divorcee. No Kohen is allowed to marry a divorcee. He can marry an almana because there's no Kohen Gadol today. Let's go to the Tanya of the day. We're starting the next chapter in Tanya. Chapter 46, I believe. Yet there's another straight and simple and straightforward that is applicable and suitable to every man. The card of Adava Moed, and this matter is very, very close to do. To arouse and to kindle the light of love that is implanted and concealed in his heart. This love is already found in the heart of every Jew in a concealed state. As we always say, Ava Misuteres, every Jew has a hidden love. Utilizing the approach about to be described makes it very simple for every Jew to reveal it and actualize it. Maybe shine forth with intense light like a flaming fire in the conscious Mizgalus Libay V'Meicha, in the conscious of his heart and his mind. Ultimately enabling the person to surrender his soul to God, the gufay with his body and the material possessions. Is being with all his heart and all his soul, and all his might, with the boundless devotion of his soul's essence. From the depths of his heart, with absolute truth. Especially best time to do this, what the Alter Rebbe is going to tell you, is to do it in the time of Krishma when you're saying the Shema. And especially the blessings before the Shema. Time of recital Shema, the blessings, as I'll explain. A particular connection of the Shema and its blessings to arousal of this love. And the technique of revealing this love is you should take to heart the meaning of the verse. The verse says, as water mirrors the face to the face, so does the heart of man to man. So here the verse says, as water reflects the face, that's the way it is. When you look into the water, like looking in a mirror, you see a face, so too the heart of man is to the heart of man. What is the meaning? Pirush, just like in the case of the likeness of the feature of the face, which man presents to the water. Right? The way you look in the mirror, that's what you're going to see. The way you look in the water, that's what you're going to see. The identical face is reflected back to him in the water. The image mirrors not only the personal external features, but also the nuance of the facial expression. That signifies joy, sorrow, or on. The way you look in the mirror, that's the way. The mirror is not giving you something that you don't do. So the mirror is showing exactly the expression, and the mirror captures everything. Not only what the face looks like, the mirror captures what you are feeling. That's why you see a lot of Chassidim don't like when you take the picture of them. Because the camera captures not only the physical face, it captures what the person is feeling at that moment. And you can see it on his face. That's the way it goes. The image mirrors not only the person, right? So it also features, it shows his mental state as well. So this is the way. When we want people to love us, we need to show love to them. we express pain and suffering and all these things to another person, that's what we get back. We get back exactly what we want from the other person, from ourselves. If we show a happy face to somebody else, we get a happy face back. If we show a good heart to somebody else, we'll get a good heart back. That's the way it goes. And then and indeed, so to the heart of man, who is loyal in his affection to another person. Which his love, which he has for the other, he shows it. If I show love to another person, awakens love response to him. And in essence, if I don't, that's why the other person does not show love to me. That's the way it goes. That's the way the Eibishter made it. So another person mirrors me. That's exactly what the Mishnah is saying. The verse is saying, mirrors me exactly the way that I feel. So you cannot tell me, oh, I'm nice to you. I cannot tell you I'm nice to you. No, I mirror exactly what you are mirroring back to me. Even the love harbored in one's heart arouses and reflects love in another. Especially when he sees his friend loves him, freely revealed. This is common nature, which the character of every man, even though they're equal status. If two people are total equal, if one, as I say, one person is a great tzaddik, surely you're waking up a love in the other person. If a great person shows Abba to somebody, it automatically has a response. But even if two people are the same, one shows an Abba to another, it automatically awakens a love. So then there's even greater. If a great king, if a great king displays his great and intense love to a commoner, not only a commoner, despised and lowly amongst men. Let's say, as we gave the mush down to them, they gave a mushel, like the king who goes to the dump yard and finds the guy who's rummaging around the dump. And he goes to him and says, come, I want a relation with you. Disgraceful cast on the dung hill. So the king depicted here rules not only over the land, but over many. His love for the person is not only harbored in the heart, but is manifest. The manner of love is not an ordinary, but great and intense. And the love is shown not only in ordinary person, but truly a despicable character. The Rebbe goes on to state that how this love is displayed. Yeah, I'm down to that, but it's painting a picture. You have a guy that's in the dumpster. He's hanging around the garbage dump. But yeah, the king goes down, the king comes out of his palace. In Kol Sarah becomes in all his glory. All his ministers and the whole place. He comes down to the garbage to fill. He goes to this guy. He says, come, my friend. Come, I'm taking you home. He brings him into the palace. Doesn't only bring him to the palace, he brings him into the king's chamber. Not even to places that regular servants don't even go. He becomes his best friend. They're hugging each other. He shows unbelievable love to this guy. And he says, I love you. I want you to be right here. When a mighty king shows such a great affection and companionship to such a lowly person, then what happens? What happens to the lowly person? What happens here is automatically the simple person, this guy who was just taken out of the garbage dump, he really falls in love. He's won the lottery. So he becomes unbelievable. He says, wow, the king has become my best friend. He has an unbelievable pouring out of Ava to this king. The most common hope individual for a person of the king. With a true attachment, nefesh milmamish b'levin with a true attachment, a spirit, heart, and soul, for infinite depths of his heart. Even if this guy that was living in a garbage dump for the last who knows how many years, self-understood, he's despondent, he's totally feels like nothing. He has like a heart of a stone, not easily aroused to tender feeling of love for another. He's been destitute all his life. In such a situation, surely if the king comes down and takes him out and brings him to his palace, he will melt, his heart will melt like water. He'll turn from stone into water. He'll pour out like nothing to love the king, because the king has changed his reality. The king himself has showed him love, which changes reality, uplifted his spirits. I'm sure you realize where the Alter Rebbe is going over here. But here is where the Tanya ends today. But we can comprehend what the Alter Rebbe is telling you, how the Eibishter loves you, how God loves each and every one of us and wants to uplift us, wants to bring him closer to us, out of the pile that we're in, and wants to bring us closer to us. How can you have a Lev Ke'evan? How can you have a heart that is like a rock if you have the Eibishter who loves you? Well, we'll have to wait till tomorrow, as the Alter Rebbe will continue in this concept. Today is the 9th day of the month, and chapter 49 to chapter 54. I want to wish you all a wonderful day. I might have to do the Tanya on Zoom because it looks like it's going to rain. So Mitzvah, we're going to do the Tanya on Zoom today at 10 a.m. We're not going to do it at Chabad because the only place we can do it is outside. So we are going to move it on Zoom today, and we'll do the Tanya on Zoom or on Torah Direct at 10 a.m. I invite you all to have a wonderful and beautiful day. Wonderful and beautiful.